The world is in conflict. The cosmic creation is in a great controversy. So today I would like to discuss and just share insights about the Sabbath controversy, the seventh day Sabbath, which is the day of the Lord. According to the Bible in Exodus chapter 20, and if you read verse 1, the Holy Scriptures testified, and God spake all these words, saying, at the preamble of this command from the Lord is the declaration of sovereignty, that this is coming from God. So the reader or the hearer is obligated to either believe, accept, or deny and reject the claims of God Himself. So the Holy Scriptures assume that the reader is all inspired, that the Bible or the Scripture is saying that God is indeed God and He is not a false God. That's why it says in verse 1 of Exodus 20, and God spake all these words. So there are many people whose opinions would like to sow doubt or just demolish this claim of God by their insinuation and their skepticism. So friends, when you read Exodus 20 verse 1, just the preamble itself before the constitution of God's character or His commands, you will be subjected to this declaration whether you will accept or reject. And God spake all these words. This sentence is enough for us to either be on the side of God or on the side of His enemy. There is no neutrality in this declaration and this affirmation that God Himself had said. So either you will be on the side of God or you are on the side of His enemy, because there is a conflict. The conflict began in heaven, according to the prophecy of Revelation. The conflict started because there was an issue of obedience and submission, rebellion, and opposition. The conflict arise because of the highest worship is given to God. The glorious experience is given to God because He is the creator God. And the freedom of choice, which God included in His creative beings or His creation, His creative powers, will not diminish the creatures' choices, whether to obey God lovingly or to disobey God and rebel. And so the great conflict is still with us even until today. And the enemy of God has a short time, according to the Scriptures, in order for him to prove that hate will eventually triumph over the character of God, which is love. And we have seen that hate brought about misery and maleficence and so much mass destruction and death. And so we are here today because we are seeing this extension of the conflict. And God spake all these words, saying, if this is true, then this is from God. If this is false, then this is a deception. So you have to make your choice. You cannot just shrug this off and or ignore it or deny it. You and I are faced with the truth that there is a conflict and that one is not telling the truth, one is telling a lie, and one is an absolute truth, whether it is God or his enemy. I am the Lord thy God, which he introduced to his people, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of bondage. That is a historical fact. And he declared his constitution, his forever attributes, that he is the only God, that he is no one else like him, that he is unchangeable, that he is beyond time, that he is forever, that he transcends time, that he is the one who creates time, that he is transcendent over space and time. Thou shalt have no other gods before me, because God is sovereign, because God is all powerful, is all knowing. He could be anywhere at any given time. Omnipresence of God. So his creatures, those who are submissive to him, understands his constitution, that he is the only God, that he is the one true God, that he is the creator God. And that is what he is trying to tell his people. And then the second constitution of his character, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness or anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. He doesn't need to write this down because he is God. He wrote it by his own finger to declare and to affirm his God. No one can change God. God cannot change. God is God. And therefore he will say and command and declare, do not make any other image, graven image or idols, because a creation cannot be, if he worship his own creation, is idolatry, or that is the enemy. He is siding with the enemy of God, because God is the one who created, and he has jurisdiction, and he deserves to be worshipped, not by force, but by the freedom to love, which he himself had given to his creatures. That's why he said this. He doesn't need to write this down, but because human beings tend to forget, human beings after the fall of Adam and Eve had the inclination to think and to do evil continually. That man's heart has been corrupted, adulterated, and therefore untrustworthy by leaving them alone. So God did not left them without any information, without any commands, or commands for healing, commands for salvation, commands for peace, commands for restoration. And that is how good God is. That's why he said, do not make any idol. Do not make yourself do not make yourself an idol. And then he continues to say, thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, I'm a jealous God. Because a creator who owns and by his word made things out of nothing, made human beings out of the dust of the earth, and his spirit, the breath of life, was breathed into the nostrils of man. He is jealous because he is the life giver, because it came from his substance. We human beings came from his substance. And if there is no jealousy, there is no means to protect from the snatching or the snare of Satan, the enemy of God. Therefore, there is this requirement for God to protect, to be jealous, to have a boundary against the wiles, against the wickedness of the evil one. And He continues to say, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Hate has been the weapon of choice by the enemy of God. Hate is the accusation of the enemy of God to him, but in reality, the enemy of God is the one full of hatred. Deception is throwing something that comes out from your own heart. Friends, God is telling us that He is God and sovereign. And He continues to say, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. We know this because God is a God who is holy and just and loving. And then now comes to the part that people or mankind had lost in their memories. That's why God has to say, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day specifically is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. And then he goes on to say, with these commandments, remember the Sabbath day. Also, do not forget to honor thy father and thy mother, that the days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, do not hate. Thou shalt not commit adultery, do not hate. Thou shalt not steal, do not hate. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, do not hate. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is in thy sight. I mean to say, this is obviously do not hate, which is propagated by the enemy of God if we disobey his commands. And so, friends, the controversy is real, more so now in this Sabbath command. Why? In our present day, life and existence, the Lord's Day Alliance remembered the word Sabbath, but they forgotten the actual day. Not the first day, which is Sunday, but Saturday. The Lord's Day Alliance here in the United States promotes Sabbath, but they are not promoting the true day of God's required Sabbath rest. And that is the seventh day. We already read it. As I've said, God cannot change. That is his attribute. That's why he wrote this with his own finger. That's why he gave this to mankind. The problem, the controversy was man sided with the arguments of the devil. They may not be conscious, but they're complicit to the hate-filled message of the enemy of God. Why? Those who will not follow their first day Sabbath, they will persecute, punish, and even to the point of mass destruction. That has been proven in history. That has been recorded. That has been swept under the rug by the Universalist Roman Church. Friends, this is the controversy between Saturday, the seventh day, and Sunday, the first day of the week. Who are we going to listen? God or man. The Lord's Day Alliance, which promotes Sunday as the basis of their Sabbath, which is a false Sabbath. And according to this article that I would like to read with you, the Lord's Day Alliance of the United States claims the Sunday is the mark of Christian unity. This has been published. This has been broadcast. And let me just read to you in the last paragraph of this statement, official statement from this reverend, from this dean, Annunciation Greek Orthodox Cathedral of New England. Simply says, in order to fully appreciate Sunday as a mark of Christian unity, we must expand our definition of unity. We must strive for a Christian community, one throughout the ages, for such a transcendent unity yields many fruits. What is it saying? It is imposing upon those who obey and keep the commandments of the Lord to honor the seventh-day Sabbath as according to the constitution of God in Exodus 20, verses 8 to 11. And throughout the whole scriptures, we are being obligated to honor man-made Sabbath, which is the first day of the week, inspired by the hatred of the enemy of God. This is the controversy. Hatred versus love. The permanence of God's love and character is under attack by Satan's hatred and desire for self-worship. This is clear now, friends, why there is this controversy between Sunday and Saturday Sabbath claims. So now you understand why 99% of the world's population are confused and are skeptical of the claims of God. Few understood the commands and the constitution of God's character. Friends, let us not be deceived anymore. Let us study what God has really had spoken, or what God has really said in his commands to us in Exodus chapter 20, verse 8 to 11. Seemingly a given for all of us to ignore. That's why God has to say, remember. And the preamble or the beginning of the verse says, and God spake. 2 words, 3 words, and God spake, is enough or are enough either to convince us or to allow us to think of the important significance or the veracity, validity of this command. So now the great controversy is about the worship of God on his day that he appointed and commanded for man to keep, and man who changed the times and laws of God and claim that Sunday worship, Sunday Sabbath, is the mark of all those who follow Christ as a unity. Friends, as a unifying force, I mean. It's high time for us to get serious. There are only very few people who keeps the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus and have not bowed down to Baal, to Moloch, to the gods of this world. Let us be among those people who fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is here.